First off, I want to thank the brave men and women who work behind the wall. I want to thank them on a national level because their job goes unrecognized.
How do they try to turn a guard?
Well, correctional officer. Sorry, I apologize. But correctional officer.
How you guys doing today? It's Anthony Gangi, host of Tier Talk. I had an interesting email come to me yesterday, very late last night. It was from a gentleman who has just become an investigator or an inspector, so someone that works for like an internal affairs that investigates wrongdoings. And he's upset because when he got the position, he feels that he lost respect from his peers, that they call him a traitor and that he has abandoned their side, if you will. And he goes, that wasn't his intent. His intent was to weed out the cancer, to do good things. And he said, why is it that people have such a negative image on the work that we're trying to accomplish? So when we get back from our sponsors, I want to answer his question. As always, guys, the show is Tier Talk. Please, if you haven't, subscribe, interact, engage, comment, hit that bell. That bell's going to notify you every time I post up a video. I stand by for our sponsors.
I wanted to attend a university that had an intelligence program. I wanted to look at problems different. I wanted to increase my critical thinking abilities. AMU offered those avenues to expand. Obtaining your degree as an adult, you're actually paying yourself and investing in yourself. You can't put a dollar on it. It's priceless. It's something that can never be taken away from you.
American Military University. Learn from the leader.
Thank you guys for listening to our sponsor. I think this is a great concern because it's truth. It's truth, right? There is that divide between the inspectors and investigators, whatever they're called at your facility, and that frontline staff. You know, even beyond the frontline staff. But there is that divide. And I think that divide, as I'm thinking about how to answer this question, I think the divide comes for maybe two reasons. And guys, comment if you believe there's more. But I believe it comes down to either not understanding the investigative process, how that works, and being caught up in the middle of it. That could be frustrating. Or investigators that don't do their job the correct way, that don't have the proper motivation. Maybe they have an ego and they just want to put their name on something, or they're just lazy. Because you get that too, and that's not good. And because you need investigators that challenge accusations or allegations, because you got to get that truth out there. You don't want them just running with every allegation. You know, you have to challenge the allegation. What people don't realize is that these objective entities, because that's what they are, they're supposed to be objective, are also the ones that get the evidence to clear us if there's an allegation of wrongdoing. You know, so we need them. You know, we need them because they're the ones that are going to clear our name. So it's sad to see when someone decides to go that route because maybe that's what they always wanted to do. They wanted to investigate, or they wanted to be like a detective, and they get the opportunity that we don't support that. You know, I don't like that. I don't like the fact that we're not supporting growth, especially within our department. One of the things I advertise about working in corrections is there's so many ways that you can go. There's so many ways that you can maneuver. And for me, that's what kept me at the job, right? Because you can go a lot of different ways, and we need to support people who decide to make those lefts and rights. This gentleman who sent me the email is actually considering, I don't want to read his email out loud, but he's actually considering going back. That's how important his connection is. And he's doing the right thing because he believes that if you're my brother or you're my sister, you're not doing the wrong things in those correctional facilities. I'm doing this to protect those who are professional, who I can truly call my brothers and my sisters. Very well written email. And it's sad to see that he feels that way, and it's sad that he feels that the only resolution is to go back to where he came from, just to kind of get that respect back, because he's trying to do this to build a safer facility for his brothers and sisters. That was his motivation, and that was even his motivation on the interview. When he was interviewed, he said he wants to make it safe for his brothers and sisters. And obviously he's saying who his brothers and sisters are. They're the professional ones. They're the ones that are doing their job the way it's supposed to be. For me, I've never had issues with inspectors or investigators. I find that we need them. I'm not going to say we don't. We need them, especially as you start to move up and you get to those management levels. But I want people to make aware that you're not, we know we need the process, because you see that we're losing officers all the time for foolish shit. So we know we need the process. So when we look at that department, what are we really mad at? Are we mad at the department, or are we mad at certain people that are in that department and how they do it? Because I do want to mention one thing. If you become an investigator solely to put your name on something, to get your name out there, solely ego, then this isn't the job for you. This isn't the job for you, because I don't want you getting so caught up in your ego that you're not going to do the right thing when it comes across your desk, because I know that happens a lot. I know that happens a lot. You know, when you work these investigative positions, the inspector or the special investigation division, you have to have a high sense of integrity, and that has to have carried with you throughout your career. That has to have carried out with you throughout your career. I mean, officers are going to have to see you as always being fair. Inmates are going to have to have seen you as always being fair, because that record matters. That record would matter to me if you were investigating, let's say, me. I would also want to know what your background is like, because I think it's good for us to get an understanding of the background of the people that are investigating us, because that's your credibility. But again, if you're doing things purely for ego, that's the animosity right there. The animosity right there is because you're not doing it for the right reasons. You're more worried about putting your name on something than actually really listening or paying attention to what's going on. And that's where you're going to make mistakes. You're going to make big mistakes. And outside of that, the employee morale, the trust that you need to have, it's gone. Because you also need to have that trust. The front line, the people that you're going to investigate, they need to trust you. They need to know that you're going to do the right thing. Sometimes the reason why innocent people are resistant, it's based on the person that's doing the investigation, because they're afraid that what they say can be twisted. So you have to be a person of your word. You have to be a person of your word to be in that position, and you have to do it for the right reasons. And I would also like to think that we need to educate people on the process. Let them understand the steps that need to be taken during an investigation, so nobody takes it personal when they're innocent. That's the key. Because don't forget, investigative authorities, they have to also act on universal precaution. If there's an allegation made that threatens the safety and security of the facility, even though it may not be true, they have to find that out. And in the meantime, they may have to take steps that some people may find either inconvenient or just outright wrong, but that's not the case. It's no different than how we operate our facilities at a frontline level. If we have a threat and we don't know what that threat is, we lock it down. It's no different. But again, I think it's just more about understanding the process and the individual who's doing the investigation. But I would love your comments on that. What's your thoughts on that department? What's your thoughts on the people that do the investigations? What advice would you give the gentleman that gave me this email? My advice real quick is don't be a fool. Seems like you want to do things for the right reasons. Stay on course. Don't change the career path that you're on. Because at the end of the day, we need those positions. And I think right now, he may need our support. As always, guys, the show is Tear Talk. Please, if you haven't, subscribe, interact, engage, comment, hit that bell. That bell's going to notify you every time I post up a video. All right, guys, stay safe.